In round one of this debate, I'm going to argue in favor of the Republican Party being best to lead America to the forward and counter the proposition debate from both a policy and a leadership standpoint, and I'm going to use her same arguments. And we're going to start with the economics argument. The proposition talks about this bottoms-up approach that the Democratic Party advocates for solving America's current economic troubles. But the Republican Party advocates for an across-the-board solution, not top-down, not bottom-up, right? All income brackets, working class, middle class, small businesses included. Now, President Obama did institute a payroll tax cut for the middle class, but this, economists agree, had relatively little impact on the economy. And Republicans, so therefore it was actually mostly a political symbolic gesture, where Republicans advocate for tax cuts for everyone, for giving citizens back as much money as possible that they earn, rather than having the government pick and choose the programs. That's social engineering, right? The government picking and choosing which programs American citizens' money can go for. That should be done in the private marketplace. The government should only tax what are essential for what are essential government services, and the Republican Party advocates for that position. This will help American economy grow, right? Giving citizens back more of their money. Now, the proposition also talks about production versus consumption economy, and we're already in a pretty good position, right? We manufacture more than any country on earth, including China, but we can always do more because we're in economic stagnancy. So the Republican Party advocates for corporate tax cuts, right? Because we want to keep corporate jobs here that those corporations provide. We want to keep their money here, and therefore we have to keep them here. And to keep them from going offshore, we want to lower the burden that they face via taxes. And also the Republican Party advocates for reducing regulations on the H-1B foreign working visas. And we want to bring as many other smart minds here to help grow the American economy as possible, right? Because those aren't going to be taking American jobs. There's no fixed number of American jobs. So those have the possibility to expand. And the Republican Party policies allow that expansion to occur. The proposition talks about the Democratic strategy of investing in infrastructure, but these are fixed projects that don't have any, that have very small room for growth, right? And they're relatively few jobs in comparison to the jobs you could create and the amount of growth you could, and expansion you could stimulate via tax cuts, by giving individuals and companies back that money so they can grow rather than dealing with fixed infrastructure issues. And now I would like to move on to the progressive social issues argument. And I think this argument doesn't quite hold up why the Democratic Party or even the Republican Party should be the leaders. These issues are going to be dealt with most on a societal issue. Sure, we're going to talk about them on from a party point of view, but society is going to determine where the future of the country goes as far as these issues like same-sex marriage and women's rights are concerned. Because if 80% of the electorate determines that this should be this way, then the party in charge is not going to go against that policy, and eventually the party is going to have to cave to societal demands and do what society demands. And the Republican Party actually advocates for dealing with these issues on a state level, which is closer to the people. So I don't think the proposition argument is it good for why either party should be or should not be in the leadership position. And thirdly, I would like to address the education argument. And the proposition talks about America as lacking in comparison to other countries' education progress. But this is only half true, right? America has the best college and university education on the planet by far. And most of those top institutions, with a few exceptions, are private institutions. But the proposition is right as far as elementary education is concerned. We're lagging behind other countries. So maybe we should take some cues from that secondary education system and start, which the Republican Party advocates for, allowing people to have more school choice by providing vouchers for people to go to private schools and by investing in private educators. Because the proposition talks about money not being the whole problem, right? It's not just about money, and this is true. It's about how the methods that we use to educate our students. So if we allow private educators to take over some of this responsibility, we can see what they come up with and institute the positive changes into our public education system. So we should utilize the public market and public minds to better our education system, rather than just rely on trying to do an across-the-board public solution every time, because so far all we've been able to do is throw money at the problem. And as the proposition's right, it's not always a money argument, and this hasn't worked so far. Just throwing money at schools has not worked so far. And so investing in this private education will benefit the American economy in that way. So these are the reasons why I believe that the Republican Party is best set to lead America going on into the future.